Looks like I got 7 o'clock on my phone.
Yep.
I'd like to make a motion to open the October 8th, 2025 Community Preservation Committee meeting. It's a remote meeting. I'm calling the meeting to order at 7 p.m.
So moved.
Okay. There's a motion, a second. I'll roll call vote. Gary Richardson,
Yes.
Mike Biles,
Mike Biles, yes.
Jack Aruka,
Jack Aruka, yes.
Bert O'Donnell,
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Cecilia,
Cecilia Del Gadilio, yes.
Kevin, Dennis Kelleher,
Dennis Keller, yes.
and Kevin Cantwell is yes. All right. So first on our agenda, I had it on last month's meeting, but we pushed it off to this meeting. I've been thinking about it for a while about stepping down as chair. I've been on for a few years, and I mean, Dennis and I were talking a while back, and I know Dennis is interested. He did help with the selectmen's interview for the new position. But is anyone else interested in being chair?
Just a comment. I think Dennis would make an excellent chair, and definitely support that.
Agreed.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Carrie, Cecilia. When Kevin kind of floated the idea a few months ago, the one thing I mentioned, first of all, I'd be honored to chair this committee, but I also would do it with respect, right? There's a ton of talent on this committee, and certainly those that have been on this committee longer than I. So certainly would respect anybody else's wishes, but I'd be honored if the committee. That being said, I think I would also, if this comes to fruition, maybe suggest that we keep Kevin on as vice chair at least for another year, just to kind of show, help me where my blind spots are. But again, I'd be honored if the committee wanted to vote me as chair.
I'm fine with that. Is there any other comment or discussion? I guess just to memorialize it, we should have someone make a motion, not myself or Dennis. Go ahead, Brett.
I would make a motion to nominate Dennis Kelleher as chair of the CPC.
I'd like
I'll
to
sec-
second. Oh,
Hey, Tom, if you have the ability to mute your computer, would you be able to do that for us?
Yeah, let me try.
Thanks, Tom.
and Kevin, you're on mute.
You're on mute, Kevin.
All right, we're all set. All right, there's a motion, and who seconded
Cecilia
Cecilia.
seconded.
it? Say a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. I go around. Mike Biles,
Mike Biles, yes.
Jack Aruka,
Jack Aruka, yes.
right? Right. We voted to recommended to have Dennis become the chair. That was the vote that just came in as.
Yeah. Brent Corshane. Yeah.
Kerry Richardson,
Terry Richardson, yes.
Cecilia,
Celia Del Gadilio, a resounding yes.
Bert,
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
and Dennis,
Dennis Kelleher, I'll vote yes for
and
posterity.
Kevin Campbell is yes. All right, that's good. All right, so
And then
Dennis,
I'll follow up and make my first official motion and request Kevin Cantwell assume the vice chair role of CPC.
And
a second?
Kerry Richardson will second that.
Terry Richardson, any discussion? Okay, we'll go through a verbal roll call. Bert O'Donnell,
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Cecilia,
Cecilia Del Gadilio, yes.
Kerry,
Terry Richardson, yes.
Jack,
Jack Aruka, yes.
Mike,
Mike, yes.
and Brent.
Brent Corshane, yes.
Excellent.
and I vote yes. So,
Oh yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
all right, Dennis. Now you can steer the ship.
Yeah, so we'll see if I can at least share correctly. So first thing I'll pull up is the agenda. And again, if I'm sharing something and it doesn't look right, keep me honest because a couple screens going on here. But just to level set, we're gonna have a bunch of guest speakers on. We had 14 applications that came in by deadline. We have invited 8 of those applicants to come to speak tonight and introduce their article. And again, I know some are already on, some may be joining later. We have slotted 10 minutes for each of those applications to present their application. I would ask each applicant to kind of keep your pitch to about 5 of those minutes. If you go a little longer, that's fine. And then I will ask the committee if they have any questions, and then anyone in the public. The goal would be to kind of keep the conversation to each application to 10 minutes. Keep in mind, this is a 5-month process for anybody that's been through that hasn't been through this before. The October and November meetings are usually positioned so that applicants can introduce their application. And the committee members, although they have the paperwork, will have a better understanding of what they're reviewing and can come up with some more thoughtful questions or needs, like a site visit. Usually decisions aren't made until December, January, and February. So although I'm asking you to limit your conversation to 10 minutes per process an application tonight, certainly this is an extensive process that will take many conversations. Let me just see if we. That being said, Jack, James Marathas, you on the call yet?
Dennis,
Yeah.
this is Kerry, just if, before James presents, I know I had spoken with Kevin and he had thought he may be able to talk to Bob Galvin. Both Cecilia and I are on the Marshfield Housing Authority, and we were wondering whether or not we can participate in the discussion and or, vote on 2 of the items. The first one, the MHA CDC, and then secondly, the Grace Rider cupola. And I'm wondering if you have any guidance on that.
You know what, Kerry, I mean, James is going to be presenting tonight. I mean, we're not going to be voting on it tonight. I mean, you guys, I mean, if you feel that it's better for you to abstain, that's fine. But you guys can participate in the thing if you just didn't want to vote. I don't think we're voting tonight. Honestly, you guys are on this board because Kerry, Cecilia's on the Housing Authority as your appointee. It's not, she doesn't have a financial interest in it.
Yeah, I think
So,
if there's no financial interest, I don't
Yeah.
see that as an issue.
I mean, but we're not voting on it tonight. So if you want to, if you want to listen and then, if you guys feel better without, I mean, Kerry, you're on the Housing Authority as well. I understand. So it's just, I don't see a problem with it. I mean, you're not presenting it.
Correct.
And Kerry, you can draw the line to Cecilia or Jack voting for something that Historical brought to the table, or potentially something that I might vote on if Youth Soccer brought it to the table. So as long as you're doing it in good faith, and certainly if we go through the process, if anybody on the board feels as though their comment or vote could put them at risk, they can either certainly excuse themselves from a vote, or we can certainly reach out to Bob Galvin and get another opinion.
Hey, Dennis,
Yes, Mike.
I looked into this many, many moons ago when I was on the Trails Committee and about one of the proposals. And as long as you don't have any financial interest in it, there's no problem voting on it.
Terry, I appreciate the sensitivity. Any additional issue before we move on? Now, Kevin, I don't see James in the roll call. Is he in the waiting room by chance? If not, we can move back and circle back.
No, he's not.
I'll give him a call.
Yeah, well, and instead of waiting, why don't we move up the list? I do see Kevin Burke is on the line, and we can jump to softball dugouts at Governor Winslow and give Kevin, and if Joe McDonough's on the floor, give them the opportunity to pitch.
Yep.
And while you're doing that, I'll pull up your application.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, just can you give your name and address for the record?
Yeah, it's Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road. I'm also a member of the Housing Authority.
Thank you, Mr. Pasevich.
I'm just asking, I'm pardon my ignorance. I'm not up to date on who's on what committee and what their terms are. But Mr. Richardson mentioned that he and Cecilia may have an issue about voting. Are they a member of the CPC or what is the connection?
Yes, both Carrie and Cecilia are members of the CPC.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pesaved. Kevin, if you're online, you can take yourself off mute, introduce yourself to the committee and talk about your application.
Sure. Thanks, Dennis. Kevin Burke, Moritz Road. I'm the president of Marshfield Girls Softball, and we are applying for CPC funds to build new dugouts at the Governor Winslow complex. As most of you may or may not know, the Governor Winslow School has been a great partner of ours over the years. We have 4 softball fields there now and about 150 kids in the program. We do spring softball, summer softball, fall softball, and we run all of our practices and games at the Governor Winslow complex. We do our best to keep up with the fields, along with the DPW. But we host like a big tournament there every summer, and we always have board members down there, and just doing whatever we can to make sure that the fields are in good shape, the grounds are kept clean. We have 2 storage lockers on the facility, and everything is nice and tidy, and we have a great relationship with Karen Hubbard, who's the principal at Governor Winslow. So when we started thinking about this idea, I reached out myself to Karen and brought the subject up to her, and we have her overwhelming support. She said, we've been such a good partner that anything that we're asking to do for the betterment of the program, she's on board with. So we have support of the principal of Governor Winslow. And what we're looking to do is we have currently some chain link dugouts, standard chain link dugouts that you see around ball fields. We're looking to improve the dugouts for the girls by building wood structure on concrete poured pads with metal roofs to be able to sustain the winters here. We have temporary, I guess you could call it, plastic roofs on 2x4s now, and they we'll lose a panel every once in a while in the winter, and we'll have to replace it. And we put those on ourselves with our own funds and our own manpower. And we'd like to enclose them with PVC shingles. Basically just so we have structures there that make the girls feel like they're at a real softball field, like the high schools dugouts, as opposed to just sitting in chain link fence dugouts. So, we looked into possibly doing it ourselves and what the cost would be, and it turned out the cost was more than we have in our budget as a board to come up with. We are willing to subsidize this if we do receive these funds. I believe we're asking for $65,000. We are willing to put 5,000 of the Marshfield softball board funds into the project. But we started looking into it last year, and we ran into the first snag where I'm sure everyone's aware of the playground, and we have to have ADA accessibility. So that was the first thing that really threw us for a loop there. And I reached out to DPW, spoke with Sean Patterson about it. So he's aware of this potential project, and we know that we have to pour concrete path from the parking lot to third base dugout, and then a path from third base dugout to first base dugout. And we reached out to some local contractors, received 3 quotes, and 65,000 is the lowest that we have so far. We do have someone else that we've reached out to, and we're still hoping if possible, to bring the number down if we can. But that's where we are. That's where we were at the date of the deadline, September 30th, to submit our application. So we are, here before you tonight, asking for your support to help us better the girls softball program in town. Thank you for having us.
Appreciate it, Kevin. And I'll kick off the questions for the committee, just a couple simple, just to lay the groundwork. Can you tell us about the impact this might have as it relates to how many kids in the town program, summer program, how many seasons you typically run down there?
Yeah, so we have about 150 girls in the program overall. We do a spring rec season, which is, open to everyone. We do a Sunday sluggers program. We started a few years. So we start girls as early as 4 years old. That's really the fun one, Sunday sluggers. We get out there. The girls are in their pink shirts, and that's where they really, learn the game for the first time, fall in love with the game, is at that early age. And that's what we've been trying to do over the past few years, is to just keep bettering the program. We put a new scoreboard in at Field 1. We constantly reach out for fundraising. We throw a big annual fundraiser every year, and we take those funds and we make it so that the girls feel the best they possibly can out in the field. They have top of the line uniforms, catcher's equipment, like I said, the new scoreboard, anything that we can do for the girls, we have as a board, and this is the first one since I've been a board member for 10 years now. Coming up on the end of my first term as president, I served as vice president, served as a fundraising director. This is the first time where we've been looking at doing something out of the scope would be out of our budget. Back to your question there, Dennis, then we do a summer program where we have tryouts for summer teams. This year we had the most summer teams that we've ever had. We had at least 2 teams at each age group, an A and a B, and in one age group we had a C team. So, we try our best not to cut any girls in the program. If we're falling short, instead of cutting 7 girls maybe for the B team, I reach out to neighboring towns and see if any other towns have some extra players, and we put kind of co-town teams together to make sure that everyone who wants to play softball can play softball at Marshfield. We do a travel program in the summer where it's a competitive South Shore Summer League. We host the annual Beach Blast tournament. This year we had 26 teams from around the area come to our Beach Blast. It was the biggest that we've ever had. And we get compliments from any town that comes in that we do a great job as a board running the tournament and keeping the facility nice and clean and in good shape.
Excellent, Kevin. I'll look at my board members, see if there's any hands raised, and ask, see if there's any questions for Kevin. Kevin Cantwell?
Yeah, I know, Kev, I want to compliment you guys. My kids are quite a bit older, but you guys have done a lot since my daughters played softball many years ago. I think, you keep moving forward, and I commend you guys for your projects down there. I was there last summer a couple of times because I had friends' daughters from other towns coming by, and they really appreciate what you guys have done down there. I think this would be a great enhancement.
Thank you, Kevin.
Mr. Mike Biles?
I assume have you talked to the rec department at all about this? I would assume they would concur in it.
I have, yes. I reached out to, I'm drawing a blank right now, the rec director.
Craig
Jameson, yes. Yeah, I spoke to him about it. He's on board.
Okay, thank you.
Kerry?
Yeah, Kevin, what do you think the life expectancy of the dugouts are?
Let me see if I have some notes here, Kerry. So we put out a scope of work request.
And Kevin, feel free, we can always circle back in waiting or in the next meeting too. So
yeah, I don't see. I thought I did have a life expectancy in in the notes, because we put out a general scope of work. We haven't gone so far yet as to draw up architectural plans, and have the whole parts list. But, we asked for, the siding to be vinyl construction, natural cedar, all trimmed to be AZAC, PVC or comparable, and the roof to be metal, in underlayment, with weather prepped using ice, water, tar paper, and also to look out for proper ventilation. So while I don't have the actual life expectancy right now, it is a major concern.
All right, thank you. And then also, do you have a contingency dollar amount in the project?
Yeah, in that $65,000 budget, I believe there was a 3% contingency.
My recommendation would to increase that 3% to probably 10%.
Okay.
Yeah, as we get closer to maybe final scope in a couple months, Kevin, if we think we need to build that in, we certainly can adjust the number up or down based on maybe having a better idea 4 or 5 months from now.
Great.
Brent?
Yeah, just real quick. I know that tournament, a lot of people show up there. What is the status of the dugouts on the other 2 fields?
Yeah, so everything right now is chain link, and we are hoping to make this, if possible, a multi year project where we could continue to enhance all the dugouts. We'd like to have them all up to this status, but we wanted to start, not coming out and asking for an astronomical amount of funds, and figured that we would use this kind of as a pilot and see how the first set of dugouts goes.
Yeah, and it's the closest one for ADA accessibility.
Correct. Yeah, it would be the first field there.
Gotcha. Thanks.
All right, unless I don't see any other, Cecilia.
Thank you. Thank you for your presentation, Kevin. I know this is for the dugouts, but is the fencing going to be replaced? I don't see anything on fencing.
Yeah, so no. So what we're going to do is leave the existing chain link fence. There's only one actual fence. Field 1 has fenced down the foul lines, and then the outfield is fenced in. Everything else, every other field just has a backstop. What we're proposing to do here is just remove the existing exterior of the dugout space, about 24 by 84, I believe, and that's currently just chain link fence. We're gonna, take the chain link fence down and decommission that, recycle the chain link fence, and then replace that same footprint with the new structure, and leave the rest of the chain link fencing around the field in place.
Got it. So it's not part of this project at all, so nothing will be added. I just wanted to make sure nothing was added to it.
Yeah, no, not at all. That's one thing we've thought about in the past. And like I said, due to our relationship with the school and Mrs. Hubbard there, we know that the other fields too, like field 2, 3, and 4 out there, they are used for multiple sports from time to time with the rec department. And, we've kind of decided not to go that route and put permanent fencing in there. So this wouldn't be any additional fencing or anything. It would be replacing existing structure footprint.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
And before we let Kevin go, I just want to see if anybody from the public had a question for Mr. Burke. All right. Well, Kevin, I appreciate you presenting, and for yourself and any other presenters, once you're done, feel free to drop as presented. You can certainly stick around as a citizen if you're interested. But Kevin, I appreciate your time, your pitch, and we'll certainly follow up with any questions that might come in, and if we want to pull you back or a site visit or anything of that nature.
That's great. Thanks, Dennis, and thank you everyone else. Have a nice night.
Excellent.
Dennis, if I could quickly interrupt, I know my screen is a little misleading. It says Rob Steele, but it's actually Russell Sharp with the Marshfield Housing Authority.
Oh, excellent. I appreciate you speaking up. Are you speaking on behalf of Mr. Matt Marathis?
I'm speaking on behalf of the Grace Ryder Cupola.
Great. Okay.
Okay, and Dennis, James said he is on the call now, so
Okay.
not sure if you see him.
All
He
right.
is under Becky M, but he's also muted. James, you're muted.
Trying to unmute. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
That's it, James.
Yes,
Yes.
so I am here.
Excellent. Coming in incognito. I appreciate you doing.
Both of us. That's how we fly here.
Well, that at least it's Becky in a safe name and not some unusual name that you got caught. So
That's right.
I'm gonna pull up your application. Takes me a second, but why don't I give you the floor and kind of let us
Sure.
know what you're looking for?
Okay, so the first application, I think the one that you have is for setting up the a nonprofit entity for the housing authority. So I kind of need to give you a little bit of backstory on why housing authorities are doing this across the Commonwealth and why they need to do it here in Marshfield. So in Marshfield, we have state public housing. We don't have any federal public housing, and no surprise, the federal government is trying to get out of federal public housing, and most housing authorities are rad converting their federal public housing and taking private ownership of the federal public housing, and you can only do that with a nonprofit entity. Um, in Marshfield, we have state public housing, and we're limited to the number of units that we can have. So the housing authority can never build another affordable unit. The state is overwhelmed with the budgets for affordable housing throughout the Commonwealth, and they're trying to shrink down the number of state public housing units they have. So they're not allowing housing authorities to build any new affordable housing. However, as we know, in every town, there is this dire need for affordable housing. So what housing authorities are doing, and they're doing it across the Commonwealth, we just completed it in Quincy, we just completed it in Hanson, and we're working on it in Hingham, is the housing authority entity sets up a nonprofit entity. In this case, it would be Marshfield Housing Authority Development Corporation. That entity can work with the towns and cities to create new affordable housing by either taking blighted properties, turning blighted properties into affordable housing, renovating those blighted properties, working with the town Affordable Housing Trust Fund, working with town CPCs, doing projects to create new affordable housing, and it would be owned in the nonprofit entity, such as the Marshfield Housing Authority Development Corporation. And then the corporation, the development corporation, can have an MOU with the housing authority that the housing authority manages that property. So this is the way that housing authorities are adapting to the need for affordable housing, but yet the inability to create new affordable housing. So this is more or less a tool that creates an entity that can work hand in hand with the town to address affordable housing needs going forward. That really is what this is all about. In order to do that, there are legal fees involved with that. We have to get an attorney to create the nonprofit entity. There are tax filings that need to be done, and they're very extensive because of the way that the nonprofits are being set up as basically an extension of the housing authority. And then there's setup costs for establishing the entity and so on. But once you have that entity, now the housing authority can really be a partner to the town. A lot of towns give their money to private developers to create affordable housing, and then the town never gets anything back. The benefit to the housing authority having a nonprofit entity is if the housing authority was to do a project, let's say even taking over a single family home, we just took over 2 in Quincy. We renovated them, and then they get deed restricted affordable housing, which counts towards the affordable housing for the town. The housing authority manages it by putting in a Section 8 voucher holder. That voucher holder pays rent to the development corporation, and that rent builds up and builds up equity so that the housing authority, through the development corporation, can continue to be a partner going forward in creating more affordable housing. So really, this is kind of like the step to get to where we need to get to be able to address the needs within the community and keep the money in the community rather than giving the money to a private developer, which then you never see anything in return. So that really is the entity that we're looking to set up. And if anybody has any questions, I don't want to get too involved, and I'm trying to explain this so that everyone can understand it because it's kind of complicated.
Yeah, I agree, and I appreciate the the baseline explanation. I certainly have some homework to do on this as well, but I'll just ask if the committee has any questions on this application. Again, keep it to the scope of the application if you can. Okay. Mr. Cantwell.
Yes. Hey, James, how you doing? Hey, so
Hey,
I had a
Kevin.
question. Are there any more MRVP vouchers, state vouchers? Are they gone?
The state is not, there's a freeze on issuing MRVP vouchers. There's a freeze right now on most communities for Section 8 vouchers. In fact, there's discussion whether the federal government's going to claw back Section 8 vouchers. Right now, the majority of the housing authorities throughout the Commonwealth are underfunded. They're all in shortfall. And there hasn't been any leeway from the government on whether these shortfalls are going to be addressed or not. So
Thank you.
the situation out there for affordable housing in this current state right now is pretty grave.
Any other questions from the committee? Any questions from the public?
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure. And Joe, I know it's you, just for the record, state your name and your address.
Yeah, Joe Pasevich, Wilson Road,
Thank you.
member of the Housing Authority on the board.
Thank you, Joe.
I see a figure on the application form of $25,000. Does that go to the Housing Authority? Or where does that go? Or where would it go?
The $25,000 would go to the Housing Authority for the purpose of creating the affiliate entity, which would be the nonprofit entity that would exist under the Housing Authority.
So the Housing Authority would be able to determine who to engage to set that up and what attorneys to engage, et cetera.
Correct.
That's all I have right now. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions from the public? And I'll go back to you, Kerry. I see you. Okay. Seeing none. Kerry?
Dennis, what I would like the committee to consider is awarding this program through the administrative funds rather than having go to the town meeting. And the reason for that is that, one, I think if we did award it through administrative funds, we could start the creating this development corp right away rather than waiting until July of 26.
And Kerry, I just got, myself and Kevin as the former chair, just got an email from the state. I don't think we can do that. But we were given some legalese that we have to. So I know that was a thought of yours. As a committee, maybe we investigate a little bit more to see if that's an option, but their direction would be this would have to go to town vote. But I think again, that was an email I saw about a half hour ago, so I don't have a full wrap around that yet. But if it was allowed, certainly something the committee could entertain.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll move on to the next discussion. I think you have again two speakers here. So the Grace Rider Cupola, and I'll bring that application up. Whomever would like to kind of lead off there.
I'll lead off. Good evening, members of the committee. How you doing tonight? I'm here to speak to you about a very special piece of Marshfield's history, the Grace Rider building located at 135 Main Street, and more importantly, the cupola that sits on top of it. This building was once a school operated by the town of Marshfield, named in honor of Grace Rider, a beloved educator who dedicated 37 years of service to the town of Marshfield before retiring in 1954. During her remarkable career, Grace Rider not only educated generations of Marshfield students, but also transformed the girls' athletics, setting a standard across the state for equal opportunity and quality athletic programs. Her leadership and commitment helped pave a way for the programs we take pride in today. Today, the historic building continues to serve the community in a new but equally meaningful way. Owned and operated by the Marshfield Housing Authority, the Grace Rider building now provides 4 congregate units and 10 elderly apartments, offering a safe and affordable home for some of Marshfield's most vulnerable residents. This low-income housing resource is crucial to the stability and well-being of the people who live here, residents who have deep ties to this community and who rely on the continued preservation and maintenance of this property. During a visit about a year ago, I went to inspect some leaks actually during a nor'easter. So I was able to climb up into the cupola and see the multiple leaks that were coming from the tops, the sides, and it was quite frightening. After putting about 9 or 10 buckets under it to try and preserve the building underneath, I had the ability to call many contractors to come in and get their feedback on where to start. After sending a few of our own carpenters in, who outlined it was more than anything we were capable of. Climbing up on the roof with several contractors, seeing the rot and decay and years of paint that had peeled off and rot in the wood. So we knew it was time for a major contractor to come in and rehab this cupola. The solution they've come up with, multiple contractors to put staging up around and fix all aspects of it, from the ventilation, the roof, the soffits, the flashing, which need a complete rehab. Maintaining its historic value is important to the housing authority and the town to preserve the beauty of the cupola and what the residents have known for years and admired. Our goal is to ensure that Grace Rider Building remains both structurally sound and historically significant, honoring the past as a place of learning and empowerment while continuing its present role. With the committee's support, we can preserve this cornerstone of Marshfield's heritage, a building that embodies both the town's educational history and its ongoing commitment to caring for its residents.
Excellent. Appreciate the presentation. And James, you're also on the agenda, so do you have anything to add to that presentation? Oh, you just went to mute.
I just want to say, Russell, you did a bang up job.
Thank you.
Great.
Very, oh, good.
Very well said. Very well said.
Yeah. Framing the project with the history was, I enjoyed that. I'll kick off the questions from the committee. Just, you've obviously done some discovery and some baseline kind of investigation. What do you see some next steps? Hard quotes, images, some drawings, and how did you come up with the 50? And do you think that potentially or likely could change?
The 50 was a average of the 3 quotes that I've already received. They ranged from all of the bottom one was just under it at 49. It went from 50 to 70. The 70 wanted to remove the whole cupola, take it off site to Lexington and rebuild it there. The other 2 people, actually had 3, they were more comfortable with putting staging and fixing it in place, which I thought was a better solution. And the 50 was also a local contractor, which would like to stay local.
Sure. And I had a sea of emails and applications. Did we get those quotes yet, or is that something that will be delivered?
I attached them to the application I thought was in there. It should be attached to
yeah, and that's fine. We'll just make sure if it's not in our inbox, Tracy, that the committee gets to see those quotes, so we have a better. You likely sent it. I just know bandwidth was stretched and whatnot. Yeah. I'll go open it to committee. I see Michael's hand up to start.
This is kind of a simple question, I guess, but what would happen to the cupola and the rest of the building if it's not funded? I mean, does it impact the integrity of the rest of the building too?
It does. Unfortunately, if we didn't have the funds to preserve the existing cupola, we'd have to remove it and patch the roof because it is leaking. Probably at this point, there was 9 5-gallon buckets the last time I went up there.
Okay, so
all the rain.
It's kind of a structural issue then too.
It didn't. So it was not structural from the eye of the contractors that I went up there.
Okay.
The beams, all of the beams that support, you can climb up into the cupola itself, and
Okay.
I have, and they were all structurally sound.
Okay.
Anybody else from the committee have any questions? Did anyone else receive any of the quotes? Was it just me that didn't get it, or?
No, I didn't see it either, Dennis. I was curious about that too.
Yeah, no doubt we all have, if I have 20, 30 emails, I can imagine Tracy must have 150. And so we'll certainly make sure the committee gets that information, and we'll probably ask you back, Russell, when we have that real data, to kind of that real information to kind of dig deep. But and anyone else from the committee before I open it to the public? Kerry, you're on mute, Kerry.
Thank you. Russell, just ensure that we have a contingency factor in there.
We do.
And what percentage?
It was 4%.
You know, my recommendation again is to put it at 10%.
10%.
I'm seeing no additional hands from the committee. Anyone from the public have any questions regarding this application?
I do, Tom Whalen.
Hey,
Hi,
Tom.
Tom. How you doing?
Good. Are those prevailing wage prices that you're getting for your quotes?
Prevailing wage.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Russell, I appreciate your presentation. Again, the committee's going to go through the applications. We'll certainly reach out for any additional questions or additional presentation. And as the process moves along, I'm sure you'll be hearing from myself, my vice chair, or from Tracy. If you have any questions
Appreciate it.
yourself, reach out to us.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Thank you very much. All right, Cindy, you are up next. I saw you go on screen. You have three applications presented. I'll stay in order unless you tell me otherwise. We'll go from beach upgrades, Wrexham basketball, Winslow Schoolhouse, if that's okay. So we'll kick it off with beach upgrades. I'll pull up your application as you start to chat.
Okay, so looking to upgrade our signage at the beaches. The sign boxes that we have currently at the beaches have been some have been vandalized, some have just been smashed, and some they've probably over 15 years old, so need to be replaced. So I'm looking for 8 of the medium size, 8 of the smaller size, and along with that, one of the quotes is with 4 mobile stop signs. Along with that, looking for 24 new of the boxes that hold the dog bags. And those just come with the box. We've got the 4x4 posts, and those are seasonal, so those go in and out. And then we're looking to get about $7,000 for some more Moby mats, but these would not be the roll-up mats. These would be these hard plastic ones, and they would be used at Porter Street. We're having problem with the roll-up mat. The water comes up too high, and it's also sitting on cobble. So if we use these plastic ones, we don't have to go to conservation and ask to move the cobble and then move it back in the fall, and use them so there, and as well as at Green Harbor. So that is the beach upgrades. As most of you know, we have a revolving account. We don't take any money from the town. So this would take up a good chunk of the money. We wouldn't be able to, we would have to raise the beach sticker fees, or we wouldn't be able to provide some services in order to do this. So that's why we're coming to CPC.
And Cindy, on top of the pictures of the Moby map, and you provided, I believe this was associated, an aerial of the shoreline and kind of identified, would these be locations to which you would put these?
These would be for the sign boxes. Okay. So the sign boxes hold a welcome to each beach sign, as well as has rules and regulations. And then there's usually an area that we can put if we have warnings such as high bacteria, if we've got a shark, if we have seals, and we want to make sure you stay away, we're able to put them into the sign boxes so you can see as you're entering the beach that there's an issue.
And again, the ask is, what, just under a little over $63,000 in total, correct?
Correct, and that
Okay.
does include a 10% contingency fee.
I'll go to my committee, before we go to the next applications. Anybody have any questions for Cindy as it relates to this application? Brent?
Yeah, just real quick. That includes installation as well as materials?
No, it does not. We would do the installing. It would probably be some of my staff and some of the DPW.
Cecilia?
For the signs. For the Moby mats would be strictly the staff. Myself and the staff would be doing Moby mats.
Cecilia?
Thank you. Cindy, quick question on the photographs. The Moby mat on the photograph looked rather short compared to what the
Correct.
other mats are, like at Burke's Beach.
Correct. So these are 5 foot by 6 foot sections.
Oh, they're sold in sections and then they're just
They're
put together
sold in
depending on, okay.
Correct. They're sold in sections. So you can put them in any configuration you would like. So you could do like, my thought for Green Harbor was to do at the end of the rolled mat, do like a T shape across so that somebody in a wheelchair would have a space to sit. As opposed to the roll-up sections, we have an issue there with the sand constantly moving. So we tried some of these sections up at Rexham to get off of the pavement and onto the roll sections, and they worked unbelievably well. So we're hoping it will do the same thing down in Green Harbor. It will hold the mat better than the roll-up section, the roll-up mats.
Are you still going, if I may just follow up on that, so you're still going to use a roll-up mat, but you're going
We're
to add
still
the
gonna
other
use-
sections as a
Correct.
T?
Correct.
I think that's wonderful
Yes.
for those that need access. Thank you.
I think they work well for everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Brent?
Do they come in Marshfield green?
Say that again?
Do they come
Do
in
they come in
Rams
Marshfield
green?
No, they do not. They're blue or brown, and since our other mats are blue, we would get blue.
That's another 20,000.
Yeah, right.
Any other hand raised from the committee? Anyone from the public on this application? Thanks, Cindy. We'll pivot to the Rex basketball. I'll pull that up. Well, I
Okay.
do know, just so the committee knows, Cindy, when she makes her pitch, she did send along a number of examples of what it could look like in different settings. And I mean, a couple dozen, too much
Yeah.
probably for the send out. So we can certainly make those available. I got them. It would have bogged down your email if I think everybody got them, but I can put together a little kind of PowerPoint, a collage, so you can get a sense. But this does, Brent, come in every color, shape, and size almost when you see what you're talking about.
Right. So the next project would be the Wrexham basketball court. So in my tenure of 24 years, I think the basketball hoops, the poles themselves have been hit 8 or 9 times. And this year they happened to get hit with a large truck, and it sheared one of the poles right off. They are not in the middle of the parking lot, but they're in an area where we do get a lot of traffic, and people seem to nowadays not want to slow down. So not within a week of the pole getting sheared, the other basketball hoop got hit by somebody driving into the parking lot, coming in a little too fast. So if many of you know where it is, I feel like it needs to be moved out back beyond the blue gate to the left-hand side. I've already talked with conservation. I'll be getting on their agenda for that issue to see if we can put it out back. The problem is we had 2 prices, $50,000 if we could pour a concrete pad out there. The conservation agent suggested we go with the porous one. So that would be $65,000. So the company would come, they would prepare the area, they would pour the material, put the material down, and then put the plastic sections on top, put the poles and the hoops up. And like I said, that was 65,000. I added another 10% as a contingency. So these are plastic pads that go on top of the surface.
So again, there's a lot of examples here. This is a brochure. The brochure, and the committee can certainly get their hands on all of these. What I'm displaying here is the application. The idea, right, Cindy, in this picture here is to
Correct.
go push it off top left. It's currently, if you can kind of visualize
Over here.
it traditionally was kind of north of the playground and kind of snack shack.
Over here. Yep, just to your left a little bit.
Right, yeah. So I think you kind of addressed one of my questions, was the conservation aspect of it. So could it live here? And it sounds like you're going to inquire about that and see if that is even an option, right?
I've already inquired, the conservation agent, was agreeable to it, but we obviously would have to go before the Conservation Commission, to see if they are agreeable to putting it there.
How is basketball a frequent activity down
It is,
there?
yes, it is. And it's used by, not just kids in the neighborhood. We now see kids bringing basketballs to the beach, and playing, as well as adults. So I can't say every day, but I'm going to say probably 5 out of 7 days a week, you have somebody playing basketball.
And then my last question, and I'll open up the committee. You don't reserve parking spots for basketball on beach days when you're collecting money. It's generally those that walk to the basketball or beachgoers that want to break from the beach and play basketball.
Correct, correct. We don't reserve any spots for that. In fact, it's in on a busy day, we end up using the basketball court to park vehicles. So if somebody is playing, I will buy them a slush if the kids will come back later to play basketball, is usually my go-to, and they're willing to do that. But we do have issues when it gets busy, of balls hitting vehicles and things like that. And again, cars moving a little too fast in the parking lot makes it a safety issue.
Makes sense. Mike, I see your hand raised.
My question is about the durability of it. It doesn't seem like it's of a permanent type structure. Is it going to last?
It's not permanent, but yes, I've been told it will last. As long as it's not vandalized, it should last.
Yeah, but how long? Have any idea?
I'm going to say 20 plus years.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, Jack.
Yeah, Cindy, I like the idea of moving it out of the parking lot. If the posts have been hit 8 times, we're lucky, there haven't been serious injuries, to drivers. But that's my only comment. And if it's good with conservation, I think it's a very good move.
Thank you.
Cecilia, I think I saw your hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. Cindy, a quick question on the truck and the car that hit the pole. Was insurance at all involved? Were they compensated?
No.
Should
the
they
car, the car, we could not get the license plate of the vehicle. It happened after 7 p.m. at night, and one of the patrons told me about it the next day. We could see it, but we could not get the license plate of the vehicle. And the truck was actually one of the town vehicles. So we did not get any insurance money. We were actually going to just try to sleeve it and get it back in for the year. But we felt it was better to not try to put it back in, because if it fell again, we'd be responsible.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Brent, I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, similar questions about the durability, given that area, highly variable. Also, just about the conservation, the area you have scaled out there is, I don't know, less than 20 by 20. Half court basketball is 50 by 50. So I'm just wondering if that cost, there's probably some clearing that needs to be done and site work included in your.
The
cost?
company will do the site work. The only thing we would have to remove is, that is a bush that's in the middle, not a tree. And then some of the undergrowth from the trees, to the left side. And yes, it would be a half court.
Okay.
Any other questions on this application? Kerry?
Two,
Mhm.
Cindy it looks like the court would be displacing the current kayak rack. Am I correct on that?
You are correct. So we actually got a gift of a second kayak rack this year. And we had some, older people who had rented it who asked if we could move it closer to the river. And that worked out great. So our thought was to move the second rack out closer to the river as well. And we also have a bike rack there, and the bike rack would go to the right side. But
Okay,
those kayak racks they come in right after November, and they don't go out back again till in April.
all right. And then secondly, have you considered a multi-use court rather than just a basketball court?
I have not considered that.
Is there a reason?
I'm not sure what else people would play there if you're thinking, but I certainly can look into it. But with the limited size, that's only a half a court. So I'm not sure what else you could play there.
Is there a reason we just want a half a court?
Because I would have to take down trees in order to put a full court there. And that's the size that the court that we had was only a half a court.
Yeah.
Bert?
Yeah, obviously this is gonna go in front of conservation. I can't speak for the whole Conservation Commission. But the fact that it's a previously disturbed area with the bike rack and the kayak rack, that's actually a good thing to allow it to move forward, because it's not something we're generally in favor of, is disturbing dune areas.
Mhm.
So we'll cross that bridge with conservation. When
Correct.
you said that it's not considered permanent, Cindy, you don't have to remove them in the winter or anything, do you?
No, you
Once
don't.
it's down, right?
Right, right. Right. And just so people know, I do have aerial photos, if anybody'd like to see it, from the 70s, where all this vegetation is non-existent. It was actually a second parking area to get people closer to the river.
Any other questions by the committee? Anyone from the public? Thank you, Cindy. We'll move on to your third application, the Winslow Schoolhouse.
Thank you. So the Winslow Schoolhouse on the corner of Careswell and Webster Street was built in 1857. The Historical Society is looking to, we need some help. We are lacking in funds, but we need a roof. Unfortunately, the prices have not come in yet. So I don't have a figure. I know we had gotten some figures a couple of years ago. And so we're just waiting on the updated figures, and as well as some fascia work.
Cindy, question, this is a town-owned building?
No, this is owned by the Historical Society.
Okay.
Not the town.
And do we coordinate with Fred Russell on this, through this, if it's owned by the historical, or is this kind of your independent?
We don't deal with Fred Russell because it's not owned by the town.
Gotcha.
It's owned by the Historical Society, which is located at 65 Webster Street, which is like just up the street from here, from this building.
And then,
I'll open up questions to the committee. Carrie, I see hand raised.
Cindy, so this would be not considered maintenance, and it would be considered structural repair? or structural replacement?
Structural replacement.
Any other questions? I think we're all familiar with this property. I spent a good amount of time down here between this and the Winslow House on other projects. I don't see any hands raised. Anybody from the public have a question on this particular project? And obviously Cindy will probably have more questions when you are able to,
Yes.
get quotes and scope and bills and whatnot, but at least that plants a seed. Anything else for Cindy before we move on? Well, as always, Cindy, I appreciate you presenting well and bringing quality projects to the CPC. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your consideration.
And Mr. Whalen, last but not least, I appreciate your patience. Hopefully we moved at a good pace and just even got you 5 minutes ahead of schedule here. So I'm gonna, again, unless you tell me otherwise, think we'll follow in the same as the agenda, start with Chapel, go to Cedar Grove, and then the war monument. So I'll let you start talking about Chapel Cemetery and I'll pull up some of your supporting data as you do that.
Okay, thank you, Craig. Dennis. Before you probably have a restoration schedule, which I developed 7 years ago. And it was ready to go out to bid, but it never went out to bid in the past 7 years. The DPW, for some reason, I do all the work. I only asked them to put it out to bid and accept the bids. And that was their only responsibility, but they failed. They didn't want to do it. I've done 6 other projects before this without any problems. But anyways, 7 years have gone by, and the bids that we had back then they're not even accurate anymore. So I'm going to have to build in a new schedule. I have enough information from the old schedule that I'm sure I can upgrade this. But there's extensive damage there. There's 230 stones. 7 years ago, volunteers cleaned the stones prior to going out to bid, which saved quite a bit of money. But this time here, I don't know if I get any volunteers to do it. So almost all these stones are going to have to be cleaned. It costs anywhere between $250 to $300 to clean a stone. So you can see how many toppled and broken stones there are in this thing. And I think I counted 17. And then I was there the other day. There's another 6 on the ground that weren't in the original quote. So I'd have to go back, stake them all out, review each stone, each of the 230 stones, see how much damage there is, more consistent damage to a lot of them. It's a lot of work. But I think I have about $113,000 in existing in the budget left. So in order to do this, we're going to need additional funds. And it'll probably take me at least 3 weeks to get the additional funds, the whole schedule together.
Thanks, Tom. So just so I can wrap my head around it, I think I was just starting to be on this board when you first came through, and I was young and dumb, and certainly back then, or maybe not as young as I thought I was. So you're shouldering the lion's share, if not all of the work. You're going stone by stone, determining the attention it needs from nothing to cleaning to full repair and restoration.
Right, correct.
Okay. And your intention.
Great, Dennis. If you look to the right of schedule, you can see my legend there. It tells you what's wrong with each prop, different things that we do to them.
Yeah. Okay.
The landscape's been done there, and the fence has been done there. That was a 3-phase project over there. So.
Okay. And I think you might have even just answered my question. The scope itself for this is the stones itself. It's not beyond that as far as fencing and whatnot, right? It's the stones.
The stones and fencing. There's someone backed into the fence there. It's about $1,500 worth of damage that has to be fixed.
Okay. Yeah, I think bigger picture, I would hope maybe we can help repair and re-engage the DPW as they are owners of those properties, and possibly new regimes might create new relationships, but that's not doesn't have to be a discussion of today. But I will open it up to my committee to see if there's any question or comments for Tom. Kerry.
Tom, once a stone is restored, how long does that restoration last?
Well, we hope forever, but particularly with the slate stones, they're the oldest stones in the cemetery. They're the hardest to repair because you can't pin them or anything like that. So it's an adhesive repair using epoxy and stuff, and you hope that it lasts for a long time. But going back on some of the previous repairs that were done, they've held up pretty good for the last 12, 14 years so far. So I got confidence that it could be held. There is a maintenance to this program, and I approached it. They told the DPW when we started the project there would be maintenance, and that would be periodic cleaning of the stones. Actually, the biological growth does damage to the stones. People don't understand it, but they have to attach onto that stone, and when they do that, they take the polish off the stone. So when we clean a stone, sometimes it looks weird, but it's from the damage from the biological growth that's doing it. And that's an ongoing problem. The marble stones are having a real problem because of the pollution in the air, acid rain and all that stuff. And at some point, we already have some stones that are not readable anymore because they've broken down from the acid rain.
So I'd just like to make a comment, Dennis, that, Tom won an award a number of years ago on I believe it was a national basis for what he's accomplished here in Marshfield. And I'm not sure that all the committee members, know that. And I'd like to recognize Tom, for that. And then also, though, I think that if we're spending this kind of money to restore them, we've got to get some type of an agreement with the DPW that they're going to maintain it.
They're not really, well, I won't say they're not qualified, but we right now we have a new historical commission, cemetery commission put together, just recently formed. They're having our first meeting on the 15th of October. And I think that according to the mission statement we're putting together, we will be responsible for the repair and maintenance on those stones.
And so, Tom, where would the funding come for the maintenance then?
That there's a breakdown. The sale of lot fund, when you buy a stone, there's a certain amount that gets broken down into each thing. One goes to the what do you call that fund? Perpetual care fund. Other things go for like maintenance, lawnmowers and stuff like that. And I think some years ago, I brought this to the DPW, and they were going to add take 15% of each stone cost and save that for restoration of historic stones in Marshfield. But I don't know what the status of that is right now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Kerry. Jack, I see your hand raised.
Yes. Tom, thanks for putting this together. We have a lot of historic cemeteries that need a lot of attention. And I was just going to ask about if you could tell us a little bit about the movement to get that historic cemetery committee back functioning, and your thoughts on how you would work with the DPW to keep this rolling and keep going so that the cemeteries are maintained properly and we don't let them degrade as much as we have over the past years.
Well, the DPW, that's not their responsibility. People don't realize that people own the stones. The DPW has nothing to do with them. But these stones are so old that we don't know the owners. So if someone had a stone that get damaged, it's been in 5 years, the family has to fix it. We're in a position here where they're so historical, they're old, unidentifiable to who kinfolk and stuff like that. And it's the town's responsibility to maintain something like this. We're one of the oldest towns in America. The only thing historical we have is basically our cemeteries. We go back to 1640, probably the 10th oldest town in America. We have a lot of important stones there, but some of them right now they're probably not going to be able to be repaired. And I'm talking, 18th century stones that have gone too far that we can't repair them. And as far as the committee, I think, I started this thing in 2012, and I was moving right along, and I got to this point here and had a falling out with Reynolds, and he just stopped the project. I don't think he had the right to. I was the one who applied for the money before the town. It had nothing to do with the DPW. I went there as a citizen. And I waited 2 years for them to put the thing out for bid, and finally I quit. And I just coming back now only because of this. They formed this new committee. I figure I have an unfinished job that I started a long time ago. I think it would have been done many years ago. All the cemeteries would have been in good shape. So I'm coming back just to see if we can get this done again.
Great.
And again, I know the Historical Commission for 3 or 4 years asked to form this committee. Well, it's being blocked by Mike Maresco. Because Mike's gone, and next thing, 3 months later, we have a committee in town. So the longer you wait to do the stuff, it gets more expensive.
Yes, and certainly what we'll do in history is history, right? So we'll maybe use this as an opportunity to kind of create new relationships and forge kind of new process and policies. Bert?
Yeah, Tom, as part of the project to map where the stones are.
We have some maps done. I've had volunteers, a volunteer husband and wife. They made a map of 2 of the cemeteries for us. It's not
I think that's important, for this one and then Cedar Grove, because I don't believe anybody knows what's there now.
We do have a map for Chapel. We do have an accurate map. During the course, I wasn't involved in it. The DPW had some work done there on the tombs, the big tombs there, and they removed stones out. We've got 4 stones laying on the ground. I don't know where they go, and
So that's my point.
the only one we might know where they go would be Rod, because he had them taken out in the course of the work in there, and they're just laying there on the ground. So I hope if we can get the map of that cemetery, we can be able to find out where they actually go.
Thanks.
Anything else, Mr. Cantwell?
Tom, so this work will be put out to bid, right?
Yes.
In prevailing wage, obvious, because the town's paying for it.
Yep.
So, I mean, it'll be put out through the DPW, through combis, the state
Yes.
bidding system, right? So it'll go through DPW. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously these stones are, hundreds of years old. So, they after 50 years, they start falling apart. I guess my question is, how long do you think this project will take? If you get the money, when the money's there, so I guess it's a matter of getting it out to bid. How long will this project take do you think?
Well, we'll need additional funds, Kevin. The money that's there is not there enough to do 230 stones. The original project called for 168 stones, but there's so many more stones there, and they all have to be cleaned. We only allow them to work from April till November in the cemeteries under the conditions. Because the end of November, end of October, conditions are changing. We can't guarantee that the repairs will be done correctly.
Anything else from the commission? Cecilia? Oh, I'll get back to you, Kevin. Cecilia?
Thank you. Tom, thank you for what you're doing. I don't have any affiliation with this group. However, have you considered including or bringing in, let's say, with the repairs and hopefully to handle or assist with the cleaning later, any scout troops? Because
it's a chemical. It's a biodegradable chemical that we use. It's called D2. It's a biocide. It's not dangerous. It's been used all over the country and the world. But I don't think I'd want kids in there cleaning that stuff because, what they're killing is a mold and stuff, and it's active until it's killed. So what we normally do, we spray it, and allow a week or so to make sure everything's dead before we go back in there to try to work with it. And some people wear a mask to do this.
Oh,
So,
heavens. Thank you.
yeah.
Forget I even asked.
No,
I appreciate it.
Kevin, I apologize. I stepped on you. Probably moved off too quick. Did you have another question?
No.
Kevin, did you have another question?
No, so Tom, see, this is not enough money to finish this project, you don't think, right? This one?
yeah, definitely not. There's $113,000 left.
How many companies are out there that do this type of work?
It's probably 4 or 5 now. Most of them have gone out of business.
Yeah. All right. I'm all set down.
Anything else from the committee before we go to the public? Anyone from the public? Tom, I'll pull up your Cedar Grove application. If there's anything different or unique, certainly feel free. If not, we can move on.
All right, the Cedar Grove, I would hope to be able to use administrative funds to get started. There's a monumental damage there. This is more than the average job that I could handle right now. So it involves it's a 3-phase project there. So the fence has to be done, restored. Landscaping has to be done. I can't get free estimates for this type of work. Those days are over for these guys.
Because of the historical challenge or
because there's 230 different stones. Each one has a separate problem. It's not something that's like a one-piece thing.
Gotcha. I didn't know if you were referencing the fencing or other, but you're talking about the stones still. Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions from the committee on this? Bert?
Yeah, so Tom, how much of the cemetery does this include? It's just
the oldest section, behind the church, all the way down towards the river, and the first main road that you can go in is paved. It's a fair amount. It's probably, I'd estimate it's like 400 stones in that area.
And they're all from 1800s or earlier, right?
I would say my cutoff date I usually use is 1900 down, but I haven't looked at the other stones there, Bert. You helped me clean the stones down there. You have an idea where we worked. So.
And Tom, maybe I should have done this just for the record too, just in case anyone isn't familiar exactly with these cemeteries. Can you just point them out in a visual map? I know they're in the Marshfield Center, but where Chapel Cemetery is, where Cedar Grove Cemetery is.
All right, Chapel Cemetery is the one close to the town hall, and the one across the street is Cedar Grove. That's behind the church that's there now.
Thank you. Just wanted the record. Kevin, did I see your hand up?
Yeah, I just had Tom, I talked to the CPC Coalition today, and they said you're not allowed to use CPC funds. I know you talked to Tracy about that, administrative funds for this project. My question for you would be, is maybe would it make sense to hire someone to go out, because you can't go out and do the mapping and all the surveying, just go out and find someone to do that work, come up with an estimate? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I could. I did. What you said, and I went to the Attorney General's office, the bid unit, and I asked him if there's a conflict of interest, say if a contractor worked on the budget that but he could still bid on the job. He said, as long as it's going out to public bid, they don't see any problem.
Right. I mean, I think because you don't have any money to do that work, to get that work out on the street.
I've been, Kevin, I've done all this work.
I understand, Tom. I'm just saying. I mean, using the administrative funds to do a survey or existing conditions is not an allowable use. So I'm just offering maybe another way to get. I mean, because I think we should get the other cemetery done first. Try to get estimate here and get that work done. Maybe that's why I asked how long the other projects would take, just for sequencing.
Well, I'm asking for the money now because I told this committee I'd give them 1 year of my work. I'm on the committee for a year. I'm stepping down. To me, it's unfinished business to me. And I'd like to get that one at least underway to get an estimate of what it's gonna cost.
Yep.
So,
Hey, Kevin,
Yes, Brett.
how would a study of the cemetery restoration be different from a recreational trail study or a field study, which, you know, we paid for in the past?
You know, I mean, I asked specifically about this today. I mean, I go back and ask them again. But I think administrative, if we do this, Brett, right? I mean, the thing is, why wouldn't every group, why wouldn't softball, why wouldn't every group come back to us and ask to use our money? Our administrative money is supposed to be for Tracy's salaries and expenses and stuff. I'm not saying, you know, we have done it with other projects, but we can't have every group come and ask to use our money. We wouldn't have enough. We wouldn't have the 5%. I mean, if we had, I mean, I don't know how many projects we got this year, but some of them, the initial costs are $15,000, $20,000 each.
well, I looked on page 18 of the act, first paragraph. The way I see it, it clearly spells out how I see it, that it's set means. So,
Well, I mean, I don't want to argue with you, Tom, about it, but I asked the CPC coalition folks, and I think that they're our go-to folks, and I can forward you their email if you want.
yeah, because I sent them an email last week. I haven't heard back from them yet. So,
I'll forward you their email, Tom.
all right, thank you.
Anything
So I'm asking.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Tom.
We're asking $250,000 for the first phase, and I can't come up with a line item budget until I know what the expenses are. So I'm kind of perplexed here how I can get started on this project. I never had a problem like this before. I've done all the work, but this project over at Cedar Grove is going to take an extensive amount of time. I can figure the work, and I have an idea how to figure the damages to the stone and stuff, but you're talking a couple $100 to do that. I'm just not interested in doing that anymore. So,
Jack?
Thank you. Yeah, Cedar Grove, if you walk through it, it is very sad, the condition. But Kevin, you saying we cannot use the administrative funds for a survey in an initial assessment?
What I said was ask for money from town meeting to go out and do an assessment. I mean, are there other cemeteries we're going to do next to them after? I mean, I know you only got the 1 year, you said, but are there other cemeteries we're coming down the road to look at too?
these are the last two, Kevin.
Okay.
I've done 6 already. These are the last 2.
So going back to Cedar Grove, is every stone in there is historic?
Oh yeah. Well, right now, it's like as we walk through there, my group, the Revolution group, we couldn't even read the stones. We cleaned 250 stones there on our own, just so we ever to read them. As we cleaned them, there's a lot of stones go back to early 18th century. There's some famous people in there, and there are a lot of stones. We found 4 or 5 stones that were our Revolutionary soldiers that are damaged and broken. One's pretty. I don't know if we can save one of them. So,
Yeah, but to Kevin's point, it's not the whole cemetery, right, Tom? It's like we just
No.
talked about. It's only the oldest areas.
Yeah, there's over 3,500 headstones in that whole cemetery, and what we're talking about is probably around 300. I haven't gone over there to go over the whole thing, but estimated 300 stones.
Any other questions or comment from the committee?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Anything from the public? All right. And then we'll move on to the last, the war monument, Tom.
Yeah. This has been a tough one for us. We have $29,300 left. We felt that we had enough money to complete the project. We had, to tell you the truth, our project manager, I don't think he worked in a timely manner to get the bids out. And as of today, we still don't actually know what the cost is. He was just dealing with the DPW with another company. They're saying now it's going to cost $29,000. What we're looking for is more or less insurance. We felt that we have the money, but now they said they can't get this project done this winter. So it's going to go on to the spring. So so the $29,000, we have no idea what we can buy with that right now. because we have no bids, so.
Is there a dollar amount attached to this request, or is it pending?
That one there, we hadn't put anything down. Our engineer told us today, tried to add $10,000 to it because of cost increases, so.
Okay, so this is an additional $10,000 from prior approved funds just to complete the project, but again, there's some question marks given the bid process and so forth.
Right.
Okay. Any questions or additional information or comment from the committee on this particular project? Kevin?
So Tom, I'm trying to read here. I mean, I looked through it quickly. So the town paving contractor was telling if he doesn't get it done with this fall, it's going to cost more money in the spring.
Well, that Galant company they have a contract with the town to do a lot of work.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, their contract ends on 11/13 of this year.
Okay.
And so they said that $29,000 could do it right now, but in the spring, it probably wouldn't be enough.
Yeah.
But
So they may not be the town contractor come spring. It could be a different contractor.
Yeah, that's the problem. The town engineers are working, trying to get them to, they have three other town projects already they have to complete by the 15th of November. And this one here, they don't know if they can get it in. So there is a concrete circle going around the monument that we'd really like to get it in this fall, and do the paving in the spring if that's the case. But we don't know. I really can't tell you if it's going to get done.
So Tom, I have a thought on this one.
Go ahead.
So if the cost right now, how much, if the contractor did it right now, it'd be another 20,000?
No, we have $29,300 in our budget. They haven't actually estimated the actual project, but just looking at you'll see the plan on the side there. They said it'd be 29,000, but
okay.
He said if next spring would be a different story altogether. So,
gotcha. All right. I'll give it some thought.
Don't hurt yourself.
I'll look at this one for you, Tom. See if I can help you out.
Yeah.
Go, Tom.
It's just the fact that it's November coming up, so our backs to the wall.
Right.
We started to look at this just as an insurance type thing, but now after talking to Gallant, they don't think that in the spring they could do it for that 29,000. So
yeah, gotcha.
Okay. Any other questions, comments from the committee? Anyone from the public? Question? Okay. Well, I appreciate you presenting, Tom, and being thorough and being open to questions and commentary. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Good night, guys.
All right, well, let's take a deep breath. That's the first pass. Again, we've did more than half of them, although we got a couple big ones coming up next few meetings. But before I close the agenda item number 3, any global comments on any of the applications before we move on to our number 4, Daniel Webster Law Office? That being said, I know, and I don't know, Jack, are you going to take lead in discussing that? I can pull up the application and the new information you brought up, but are you taking lead here?
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, I'll find it. Let's see.
Yeah, thank you from the Historical Commission considering the proposal. The law office building, it dates to around 1830, and Daniel Webster owned the property from 1832 till he died in 1852. The law office, the building that he used as the law office was an outbuilding, which he renovated. He expanded the building to include a fireplace and windows. And in 1878, Webster died in 1852. The property passed to his children. And in 1878, the estate building as well as all the outbuildings burnt to the ground. The only building that was left was this law office building. We can skip ahead to the late 1950s, and the property had passed on to private ownership. And in the late 1950s, a summer camp is developed on the property. And the Historical Commission, I'm sorry, the Historical Society expressed interest in purchasing the law office building, but they didn't have the funds to do it. And in 1964, the Historical Commission was created through the town and at town meeting. A lot of the people on the Historical Commission and the Historical Society, as well as the membership from the Winslow, Historic Winslow House, shared the interest in the office building. The town was approached to purchase the building. They didn't have an interest in purchasing the building, but what they did do was swap with the owner of the estate. They traded two older barns for the law office, and it was moved to the Winslow House property for safekeeping, as it was used by the summer camp as a changing room or a locker room. So in 1966, the town collaborated with the Winslow House, as well as the town kicking in some money to move it down to the Winslow House. It was renovated at that time, and in 1970, it was the Webster Law Office was dedicated. And we'll go up ahead to 1974. The law office was designated a National Historic Landmark. There are only 192 landmarks, historic landmarks in Massachusetts, and Marshfield's honored to have one of them. In 1987, Mass Historical Commission provided a preservation grant for restoration of the law office, and a new foundation was put in, chimney repair, interior painting. At the same time, Town of Marshfield put in $7,500 for the repairs as well. Once the Webster estate was bought and renovated, there was a movement to return the law office to the estate, and that was done in 2016. So what we're asking for now is funding for a new roof, which is the primary concern, because it's well past its life. It's in very poor condition. Last spring, in a windstorm that also took some shingles off the estate property, took about 4 feet of roof off, and we have a patch up there now. We're going to use red cedar shingles and peak boards, and that's our first concern, so that we can get that done. We're also looking to restore the outside of the building. The front is clapboards, which are well past their life. And we want to reside the other three sides with clapboards as well. We've done a lot of research, and right now they're shingled, those three sides. But it looks like from old photographs and also descriptions of the building, it looks like it was originally clapboard. So we want to restore it with clapboard, red cedar clapboard, pre-primed, and also paint the building. The total cost is $65,550. The construction costs are $57,000, and we're asking for a 15% contingency, $8,550. And due to the age of the building and the nature of the proposed work, once the roof and the siding is stripped, we don't know what's going to be left. So we anticipate that we may need this money for additional materials. The price of materials has gone up incredibly high. So we'd like to get this done at the October special town meeting and get it out to bid, and also get that roof going hopefully by the winter. In the meantime, we're fighting yellow jackets that have put a nest in wasps. The DPW has helped us to eradicate those pests, but they're still lingering. And we're looking to put a tarp over it if we have the winter coming on, so that we don't get water damage on the antiques inside.
Right. So, and if I think the committee, just to remind ourselves too, we've heard this project the last two meetings, and last meeting we voted as a placeholder that we liked the project. We had a kind of a rough idea how much it might cost, so we approved a placeholder subject to the dollar amount. So I think most of us, and I appreciate the summary, Jack, kind of felt confident this was a well-worthy project to go in front of fall town meeting. That being said, we wanted to make sure we had a hard, fast dollar to import. So just want to see, does the committee have any questions now that the dollar amount has been provided? Kerry?
Jack, if somebody at town meeting says, they think this is a maintenance, situation, what's our response?
This is historic preservation.
Yeah, Kerry, I can also, so it doesn't have to be a pure historical venue. And I know Mike Bylas actually sent out a really good synopsis about last year, maybe something that we can kind of, if it is also something that is a project that is designed to protect and preserve a historical structure, that also falls under the purview. So it gave us some latitude. I looked this up when we voted on some Daniel Webster repairs, like a handrail or a basement light. So there is a little bit latitude if it's not strictly historical preservation.
I can jump in. I went on the coalition website and just took a quick look, searching under painting, and there are many projects throughout the towns and cities that have the CPC. For example, over in Situate, they had a program to paint the lightkeeper's house at the what do you call it? Help me out, guys. At the lighthouse.
The lighthouse itself, yeah.
At the lighthouse. But yeah, there are a lot of projects involving painting, and I think restoration falls.
But I think
it's
Kerry
applicable to this.
Kerry does have a good point, right? We as a committee, and certainly if you present Jack or someone, we should be prepared, assuming someone, rightfully so, at town meeting might have a question about the latitude that a particular project has. So it makes sense to bring that up.
Absolutely.
Mike, Mike, you have a question?
No, just a comment. I would suggest that we all go ahead and or somebody, maybe I can do it, is pull out that document where it talks about what the differences are and what could be funded and what's considered maintenance and what is not considered maintenance, and because it's pretty descriptive.
Yeah, Mike, when you provided it to me, it enlightened me, and I saved it. I have it, so I will certainly circulate it to the group either through Tracy or directly as chair.
Good.
Thank you. Any other questions from the committee? Any questions from the public? Oh, Barrett, I'm sorry, didn't mean to jump over you.
Actually, Jack, I don't know. Did anybody ever figure out how long the roof lasted this time?
That's a good question, Bert. I've been looking through documents, and I started going back to the Historical Commission's birth to look at minutes of meetings. And I've seen that in 1968, the building was, a new roof was put on at the Winslow House. And I just saw in the 1987 grant that they put some money aside for roofing. So I'm not sure. But cedar shingles, I think, can last a long time, given, how they're applied. You know better than me, Bert. But I want to keep pursuing the information about what was actually done on that grant in the 1980s.
So it wasn't done when the building
1988.
was moved back over to the Webster House.
I'm sorry, what's that?
It wasn't, the roof wasn't done when it was moved back over to the Webster House. When it was moved from the Winslow House back. The roof wasn't done then, so it got a good life out of it.
Yeah, I'll let you know once I get get up to 1988 in the Historical Commission minutes. But I think also
Let us know tomorrow morning.
the Winslow House minutes of their meetings should also have some information about what work actually took place. So if it's 1988 that the roof was done, that's still a good life for the roof. That's for sure.
Absolutely, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you go back any more minutes, you're gonna find a young Dennis Kelleher visiting as a third grader.
I'll tell you.
Any
I'll tell you.
any other questions or comments from the committee before I open it for the public? Any questions or comments from the public?
Yes, Tom Whalen.
Hey, Tom.
I oversaw the last, when they moved the building over there from Winslow to Webster. I oversaw that work. I wrote the specs for the job and everything. At that time, the roof was in pretty good shape. The only thing we replaced was the cap boards. And we replaced some of the shingles around where the chimney came up to the top of the thing. We probably replaced a half a dozen shingles there. But the scope of this job now is actually a capital project. So under a capital project, I mean, I've sat on that board for many years, that when it's a capital project, because you're doing so much work to it, then painting and stuff like that could be included in the project. If you're replacing all the sidewall, a roof, I consider that a capital project. So that kind of stuff would fall into that.
Anything else from the public? That being said, I'd accept a motion to approve for the fall town meeting CPC funds to go in front of the community for a value of $65,550 for the Webster Law Office and Museum repairs. So moved by Mike Byler. Do I have a second?
Second,
Kerry
Bert
Richards.
O'Donnell.
Yep. Bert O'Donnell second. We'll do a verbal roll call. Jack Aruka,
Yes.
Mike,
Mike Biles, yes.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, yes.
Kerry,
Kerry Richardson, yes.
Brent,
Brent Corshane, yes.
Cecilia,
Celia Delgadillo, yes.
Dennis Kelleher, yes. So moved. The next item is financial. So I know Tracy is always nice enough to send out an update that she receives of the financials and also any requests for funding invoices. That's the word I was looking for. Any questions or comments on those documents? Then I would ask if we have had an opportunity to read and review the minutes, and if there are any motion to accept or any comments to edit, and I'm trying to pull them up as we speak, but.
I'll make,
I've
Dennis, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of November, let's see, wait, September 10th, 2025 as written.
Second, Mike Barnes.
Mike Bias, any discussion? Seeing none, I'll go for verbal roll call. Cecilia,
Cecilia Del Cadillo, yes.
Bert,
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Brent,
Frank Crochane, yes.
Jack,
Jack Aruka, yes.
Mike,
Mike, yes.
Kerry,
Kerry abstain.
abstain, Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, yes.
Dennis Kelleher is a yes. I hope we all have the town meeting on our calendar. I believe it's October 20th. I do remind, just because we have some new team members, if we gather in a group of more of a quorum, whether it be town meeting, or I know South River is having some open houses and whatnot, just be very sensitive to open meeting laws. We certainly want to make sure we comply with those important requirements. We have a next scheduled meeting for November 12th at 7 p.m., most likely via Zoom. So we will post that appropriately. That being said, it was a robust meeting. Unless there's anything of urgent matter, I would accept the motion to adjourn.
So moved. Mike.
So moved by Mike, second.
Kerry seconds it.
Kerry, second. Verbal roll call. Cecilia,
Cecilia Del Cadillo, yes.
Bert,
Bert O'Donnell, yes.
Brent,
Frank Crochane, yes.
Jack,
Jack Aruka, yes.
Mike,
Mike Barnes, yes.
Kerry,
Kerry Richardson, yes.
Kevin,
Kevin Cantwell, yes.
Dennis Kelleher, yes. And I promise, Donnie, I will do a better job of introducing you and including you now that I'm chair. But
Spectator.
I love it. I love it. I always appreciate your time and attention, and you sticking with us through everything. And Tracy, obviously, I'll try to reach out to you. We'll connect because I need to know where all the bodies are buried. So I will look for you for help. That being said, have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to seeing everybody among the community. Thanks so much.